I am so mad. I'm seething. I don't know how you do it, Commissioner Simmons. God bless you. But to have an elected official send in a letter, not show up, but send in a letter to say why he wasn't going to show up, to answer to all of us. You do represent all of us, Sheriff Wayborn, and I can understand why you probably don't want to be here. Probably the same, the answer to the jail deaths. Probably the same reason why your son never made it to the Tarrant County Jail when he got arrested. And by the way, what's going on with his cases?
And where are you? Big, tall guy, big hat, guns, everything. And you can't take questions from the citizenry, your constituents. We need to be updated on these jail deaths. Nobody's asking you for specifics. 2 weeks after a jail death, you give us what you got, and then you keep coming and informing and updating the public, because we need to know what keeps happening in this jail. You ought to want to be transparent. So you stay over there, wherever you are, hiding from your constituents. And a 125-pound commissioner, you ought to be able to answer questions.
Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Buckle up, because today we're talking about Sheriff I'm Too Scared to Show Up, Bill Wayborn of Tarrant County, Texas. Since Bill took over as sheriff, there have been 74 deaths inside the Tarrant County Jail. Tarrant County is now ranked right below Los Angeles County for jail deaths in that same time span. But Los Angeles County is massive, with millions more people and a way bigger jail system. Yet somehow, Tarrant County is almost catching up. That's not a leaderboard you want your name on, but that's where Sheriff Bill Wayborn's name's at. So what does our brave sheriff do when the Commissioner's Court meeting rolls around on September 3rd, 2025? He doesn't show up. Instead, he sends someone to stand there and read his email out loud. An email saying he won't attend because he's afraid of being asked questions by Commissioner Simmons, who is a relatively petite, unassuming woman, I might add. Bill claims he's not going to put himself or his staff through the ordeal of being questioned about deaths in his jail. Ordeal? Really, Bill? This whole thing is ridiculous. And as Commissioner Simmons points out, she's not the one that he has to answer to. It's the people who elected him, the people of Tarrant County. But apparently, Sheriff Wayborn thinks hiding from questions is leadership. So today, we're going to break down this commissioner's meeting where Simmons lays it all out and exposes just how far this sheriff will go to avoid accountability. Make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, and share this video everywhere.
Next up is briefing on Tarrant County Sheriff's Office incidents in the jail.
Good afternoon again, Commissioners. We did request the sheriff or one of his staff be present today to provide a briefing. Instead, this morning I received an email from the sheriff, which I was asked to read to the court. So this is dated September 3rd, 2025, to Tarrant County Judge Tim O'Hare and honorable members of the Commissioner's Court. The Precinct 2 Commissioner continues to ask for public briefings on in-custody deaths at the Tarrant County Jail. We have and will continue to be very transparent with these cases in terms of what information we are able to release. We are one of the few agencies that issues a press release on in-custody deaths. The practice places us as one of a limited number of agencies to proactively inform the public on such sensitive matters. Should any of the public, the media, or elected officials, including the Precinct 2 Commissioner, seek further information, they are encouraged to submit a formal records request through the Freedom of Information Act. Furthermore, the repeated lack of civility displayed by the Precinct 2 Commissioner towards Tarrant County staff is both hostile and unprofessional. I will not subject anyone from this office to that type of inappropriate treatment. Therefore, no one from this agency will participate in briefings requested by the Precinct 2 Commissioner before this court. We appreciate your understanding and remain available to collaborate in a respectful and constructive manner related to other issues. At your service, Bill Wayburn, Sheriff.
So to the absent sheriff, hi. So the briefings aren't for the precinct 2 commissioner. The briefings are for the public. The briefings are because you were elected to serve everybody. You should not choose who you update on our jail population, on video magistration, on jail deaths, anything. The public tells us, the 69 elected officials in this county, what they want, and we do our best to give it to them. If you don't want your staff to come down here and take questions, that's your responsibility in the first place. I didn't ask you to send staff. I asked you to come down here. And where are you? Big, tall guy, big hat, guns, everything. And you can't take questions from the citizenry, your constituents. We need to be updated on these jail deaths. Nobody's asking you for specifics. 2 weeks after a jail death, you give us what you got, and then you keep coming and informing and updating the public, because we need to know what keeps happening in this jail. You ought to want to be transparent. So you stay over there, wherever you are, hiding from your constituents. And a 125-pound commissioner, you ought to be able to answer questions. I don't know which camera to look into. It's just ridiculous. It's called responsibility. It's called professionalism. If you didn't do anything wrong, come say it. It is the responsibility of all elected officials to report out to the people that elected us. It's just real simple. It's not deep. You don't have to send your staff. It's what you were elected to do.
Start packing the lunch. When you look, or if you Google the most in custody deaths nationally, Los Angeles County, which is far, far larger than Tarrant County, and Tarrant County, the two are running neck and neck in custody deaths. When are we going to admit we have a problem? I would not be committing political suicide for someone that does not come in this chamber to catch the heat that you guys catch. When does an elected official send a message saying, I ain't coming because I don't like Commissioner Simmons? And that's all right with everybody in this room. The questions that you're asking are the questions we want to ask. How are people dying? What happened to Marine Anthony Johnson Jr.? What happened to Chastity Bonner? What happened to Mr. Roberts? The list goes on and on, on and on, on and on. Something is terribly wrong in our jail. Quit lying to the people. I can't call everyone a liar, but quit lying to the people. There is something you can do about an elected official. There is something that you could do as a body. You know the oracles. You know what section to find it in. I don't care how many awards this judge gets, and we get in here and clap, and he got this award, and these people find him so great. Why do we have so many problems? Because none of those people, children, are dying in this jail. Chastity Bonner's mom is a member of our local church. I see her cry every Sunday. She calls me in the middle of the night because her daughter died in that jail. And this sheriff won't even come talk to her. He won't come face us. We just respectfully want to get some answers. We don't want to rake him across a coal of fire. Innocent have nothing to hide. Guilty men always run.
Thanks.
Ms.
Joe Palmer, Republican voter. I really have a lot of contempt for the sheriff's remarks. I'm surprised not only is he here, not here, he didn't send anybody here from the sheriff's department. The man's name, Nan mentioned his name. I would think that that basic detail would be included in the report. The eighth Psalm was referenced in the prayer this morning to start the meeting. 1 John, first chapter, 4th verse, I have no greater joy than to hear that my children walk in truth. I think that part of telling the truth is disclosure of all the truth that you're aware of. Anytime somebody dies in the jail, as long as I've been paying attention, the information that comes out first is the DEA's after them, drugs, checkered past. And I hate that part of myself that I can feel looking and searching through the news to find out what this person's stature was. What did they do such that I don't care as much about their life
Right.
when the fact that they died? That is a real thing that happens. And that is, if it's not the real thing, then why did they put that information out there? Didn't include his name in the report. When I came at the January meeting following my friend's death in custody, Mason Yancey, I had said that on average, somebody has died in the Tarrant County jail custody once every 42 days since Bill Wayburn took office. Since that meeting, we've had 5 deaths, and if you count from that meeting, 43 deaths per day. From Mason's death, it's 47 deaths on average. 47, a death every 47 days, excuse me. You know, I don't like coming in here. I don't like knocking heads with these people. I don't know what to do. It's a weird meeting. You know, we're opposite sides on the budget. We're on the same side on jail deaths. It feels insignificant. It feels like these families are being ignored. These are the names of the people that have died since Mason died. Stephen Whitley, who's 63 years old. Richard Gutkowski, 61. August 6th, he died at JPS. You want to give him lots and lots of money, though. No answers, no money. No answers for the deaths, you don't get any money. How's that? Liza Elizabeth Gadlin, blood clot as a result of hypertension. Charles Stephen Johnson died by suicide. Do something.
First, to let you know, living next to a Negro, one cannot gain the Negro experience. It's so sad when our county judge openly votes down a commission's request for funding based on her voting down his item in the past. Just petty. Sir, you are digging your own political grave. Keep going in the direction that you're going, and you will be relieved. We will be relieved of your presence and your pettiness. Listen, I do not know how this body feel about people coming to me and calling me anonymously to cry out. Why don't your own people trust the leadership in this room that if they have a problem, that they should be able to come to one of you? And when I ask them, they tell me because they're in fear of their jobs. It is that same intimidation that the President of the United States used, that the people of this county, the employees, are saying they feel that same kind of pressure. I do missionary work in Nigeria, one of the richest and most populous country in Africa, but some of the poorest people. Reason being greed and fiscal irresponsibility, leadership, and total disregard for the poor. the people that need you guys to fight for them, because of your partisan politics and your personal biases, you sit here arguing with one another, and people are dying in our county. The gentleman was talking about how people need to pull themselves up by their own bootstraps. Well, maybe you haven't lifed quite right yet, because the truth of the matter is all of us may need some help sometimes. I've never asked my government for WIC, for Section 8, for any of its handouts. But I paid the price as a United States Marine that if I need help, it will be my government's time to help me. I've seen the two of you dissent and disagree. I am waiting for the moment that the three of you can be independent thinkers. Most of the discussion today was political grandstanding for a platform for re-election. Commissioner Kraus, can you please quit jocking the judge?
I am so mad, I'm seething. I don't know how you do it, Commissioner Simmons, God bless you, but to have an elected official send in a letter, not show up, but send in a letter to say why he wasn't gonna show up, to answer to all of us. You do represent all of us, Sheriff Wayborn, and I can understand why you probably don't wanna be here. Probably the same, the answer to the jail deaths, probably the same reason why your son never made it to the Tarrant County Jail when he got arrested. And by the way, what's going on with his cases? But I'm supposed to be here to talk about voting machines and mail-in ballots.
KERA News, Miranda Suarez. A woman died of hunger and thirst in the Tarrant County Jail custody. Her daughter seeks answers. August 6, 2025, published. Kimberly Phillips didn't like to show when she was hurting, her daughter Miranda Mills said. But Mills could see her mother's pain when she visited her at the Tarrant County Jail. I could tell she was holding back her tears, Mills said. And she just looked at me and she said, "Baby, I need to eat." Phillips kept telling her daughter how hungry she was, Mills said. She was trying to eat the food the jail gave her, but she couldn't keep it down. Phillips died in custody on February 18th. Her cause of death, complications of malnutrition and dehydration. She was 56 years old. Phillips is at least the fourth person whose death in Tarrant County Jail custody has been linked to dehydration since 2020. She appears to be the first linked to starvation, at least since 2017, when Republican Sheriff Bill Wayborn took office. And this was not the first time Phillips stopped eating in the Tarrant County Jail, according to notes from an incarceration dated 2023, a fact that medical staff noted when she was booked into jail again in January. By the time she was transferred to John Peter Smith Hospital 3 weeks later, on February 15th, Phillips had severe hypernatremia, a sodium imbalance usually caused by dehydration, and her kidneys were failing, records show. Now, Mills is left wondering how this happened, leaving her without her mother and her kids without their grandmother. "She was my best friend," Mills said, crying. "I didn't have friends because I always felt my mom was enough. Please don't let me die." The Tarrant County Jail has been under scrutiny for years for deaths and allegations of mistreatment behind bars. At least 71 Tarrant County prisoners have died since Wayborn took office. This is an old article, including an alleged murder by guards last year. The county has also paid more than $4.3 million in jail-related lawsuits since 2022. That includes a $750,000 payout to the family of Georgia K. Baldwin, a woman with severe mental illness who died in 2021 from hypernatremia. That's despite having a water fountain in her cell. Abdullahi Mohammed and Edgar Villatoro Alvarez also died of dehydration in jail custody in 2020 and 2022, respectively. Both men also had a documented history of serious mental illness. We continue to incarcerate people with mental illness. A recent investigation in the New Yorker found dozens of starvation and dehydration deaths in jails across the country. Often the people who died struggled with mental illness, were arrested for low-level crimes, and couldn't make bail. Rest in peace, everybody who has died and everybody who will die in the jail in the coming year.
Amen.